Cuando quieras.
Vale. Bueno, una tercera parte de Bridget y quería saber cómo ve la evolución de su personaje, cómo ha cambiado.
I don't think he's changed much. I think he just got older. But I think in that is a change in a way. If you changed and nothing else has, or if you haven't changed and everything else has, that's already a different perspective. So I think that he's stayed the same, but the circumstances have changed. So I think he's discontented.
Está muy a gusto.
¿En tu juicio cuáles son las virtudes y qué crees que puede gustar de la peli, del personaje?
I think his virtues are quite clear. I mean, what his problems are in conflict with that, because I think his inhibitions, whether it's because of conditioning or some aspect of his personality, are debilitating. I think he's absolutely terribly impeded by this repression, because he's a very passionate guy. I think he's a very emotional guy, but he can't let it out. His virtues are, I think he has incredible integrity. I mean, we don't see him in action very much, but he's a human rights lawyer. I think he's intellectually brilliant. I think that he's a man who's full of humanity and commitment. But it's all sort of trapped in this kind of mask.
De alguna forma Bridget se presenta como una heroína, ¿no? Especialmente en los 40, en los que digamos que a las mujeres se les exige estar en ciega, haber pasado haber llegado a ciertos pasos, ¿no? Entonces, ¿cómo ve esto? Sobre todo porque no es un contenido que aparezca habitualmente en las películas.
But that's the point, because she's represents someone who isn't going through those demarcated expectations. She has achieved some, but not others. And I think it's, I think one of the reasons that people enjoy Bridget is that she represents the joy that we take in not conforming entirely to the older expectations. But she is successful in her work. We don't find her utterly miserable. She doesn't think that she is completely useless and unworthy of everything just because she's not married or just because she's not a mother. I think she's taken by surprise by becoming a mother. We don't see her fixated with going to get pregnant at the beginning of this film. And we don't see her chasing after men. It all happens the other way around. It tends to happen to her. So I don't think it's making any prescriptive observations about life. It's not telling you how things are supposed to be.
Tanto como tienen que ser las cosas.
Se lo preguntaba también porque no es un contenido muy habitual en las películas y quería saber si cree que el cine y en concreto Hollywood simplifica un poco los contenidos en torno a la mujer.
That people are supposed to be in a certain stage? Possibly, but I think you might find that even in the lightest and most mainstream drama and comedy, that there's a little more complexity and nuance than you might think. It struck me, Mamma Mia, which seems like a completely harmless, frivolous, light entertainment, not especially unconventional thing. It's about three possible fathers, none of whom marry a mother. It doesn't end with weddings. It seems to be striking a blow in favour of independence from the institution of marriage, or even the importance of knowing who your father is, as long as everybody's there. So it's actually it's a message which is non-conformist, really. So I don't think it's very, very unusual to see convention being resisted in mainstream comedy.
En la comedia comercial
es cierto
un mensaje diferente.
Figuran estuvo en los primeros ensayos y sí cree que su ausencia se ha echado de menos y que podría haber enriquecido esta tercera parte.
No, he wasn't in the rehearsals. He was a part of discussions over the years. I talked to Hugh, I talked to Helen Fielding, various directors became involved, and then not, and then. But that was another era of development. That once Patrick showed up, the rehearsals it was only Patrick, and I was worried about doing this film without Hugh. I thought it couldn't work, and then when Patrick came, my fears evaporated, because I think he did something so completely fresh. He wasn't trying to replace Hugh. He was a guy who existed in his own right, and he brought his own qualities to it, and his own ideas. And it was such a pleasure to work with him that I wasn't thinking about other people anymore. He just seemed to belong. So no, it feels like it has its own integrity now. The whole, the way it is.
Viendo su trayectoria, yo quería saber si en algún momento se ha planteado dirigir y si se plantearía también volver al teatro.
I've thought about directing. Some actors desperately want to direct. I don't have that feeling about it. It's occurred to me, and because I would like to be able to approach my own profession from another angle, possibly. But it's very easy for us. We're rather spoiled as actors by moving quickly. We do something, we commit for 3 months, then we move on, and we commit to something else for 3 months. And so I would have to find something that breaks that pattern and says, I will live with this for 2 years, 3 years, and only this. I am producing at the moment, and I'm really enjoying being able to bring stories into being in cinema without having to be in them, because I can only play white English or white guys of my age, whereas if I'm not in front of the camera, I can vary the options that I have for telling stories. I'll definitely go back to the theatre at some point, yes.